In the mixer of Superior Drummer 3, you'll notice that there are two separate sets of overheads. One is labeled Overhead Dynamic and one is Overhead Condenser. If you don't see these channels, it's because one of them is hidden, and you can unhide any hidden channel with the convenient Edit Visibility button. So how and why would you use these two sets of overheads? Well, the most obvious reason would be to listen to them both and see which one you like better. But a not so obvious way to use them, which you can only do in Superior Drummer, would be to use them both by picking and choosing the elements in the channel that you want to use from each of the different overheads. For example, you could decide that you like the forward mids and edginess of the dynamic overhead for the kick, snare, and toms, but you prefer the smoothness of the condensers for the cymbals. A great deal of the kick, snare, and tom sound comes from the overhead mics, so finding the perfect balance with this trick can be really helpful for certain styles of music. All you need to do is lower the volume of the cymbals in the dynamic channel and enable the bleed of the cymbals in the condenser channel. Now I have two separate faders for overhead drums and overhead cymbals, which also provides new mixing opportunities. Finally, since they're on separate channels, you can process them differently. For example, I might want to compress and narrow the stereo image of the drum's overhead while keeping the cymbals wide and adding in some high frequencies. This gives me a really punchy snare and kick while keeping the cymbals wide and airy. There are, of course, other ways to isolate instruments on their own channels with Superior Drummer 3, but the point is that with the options available, you have the ability to change the sound in near infinite ways to suit your track. And of course, this may or may not work for your specific track, but before you reach for a lot of processing that might be doing more harm than good, realize that with Superior Drummer 3, there is another way. Thanks for watching and good luck with your music.